Hey Kristy in Bar Harbor, Maine. Matthew here with freeprescriptionlenses.com, and I was just up staying in your hotel, the Atlantic Erie in Bar Harbor, and I saw you had a problem with your glasses. So here it is. Because you guys took such good care of me, I'm going to make sure that I get you a pair sent straight to you free of charge. Now I'm going to pop out the demo lenses. This is a small little petite Vera Wang frame. I've taken out the original, sorry I'm being silly tonight, your little demo lenses, and I'm going to put them into the tracing element of my $30,000 Santanelli. This is the LE1000 patternless edger, and the stylus is popped up and is tracing the shape of your right lens, and then it's going to move over and trace the shape of the left. Here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed with quality. You buy a genuine authentic designer name brand frame from me, and you will see free, clear, single vision, prescription or non-prescription fashion lenses. But in your case, Kristy, you definitely need some prescription lenses. So I'm going to pull up the shape of your lens onto the computer. I'm going to type in your pupillary distance of 55 millimeters. And I have blocked out your last name so your fan club cannot reach you at all hours of the night, and I've blocked off your doctor's office who will refuse to help you with your glasses even though you paid for them to make them for you. It's alright, I got your back, Kristy. I'm taking care of you on this one. Don't you worry about anyone else. So these are polycarbonate lenses that are going to be cut for a metal frame. So your right eye reads -250 -1 at 157. I'm going to spin the axis wheel of my Marco 101 lensometer to 157. It's on here somewhere. There it is. There it is. I'm going to take your lens out of the protective packet, put it into the lensometer, and rotate it. Oh, got to put this on 250 first. Actually, let me make sure it's zeroed out. On -250, I'm going to rotate your lens until the sphere power comes in clearly. I have found the optical center of the lens. I'm going to check your astigmatism correction. We're looking good there. And I'm going to put 3 dots on your lenses. 1, 2, and 3. Let me put this one back over here, and that is the right lens. I will now do the same thing for the left, which reads -2 1/4, -1 1/4 at 65, and -2 1/4. I put the power drum on -2 1/4. Put your lens in, rotate it until the sphere power comes in clearly. Check your astigmatism correction. We're good there. Located the optical center. Put 3 more dots on your lenses. Hopefully you can see those. 1, 2, and 3. And of course this is the left lens. So this is a block. This is what holds your lens in place while it is cutting. So 3M makes a little double-sided adhesive sticker. The one side is already stuck to the block. I'm going to put that in there. Pull the tape away to make it double-sided on your side. And let me put an R for right there. And I'm going to do the same thing. The reason why I put those 3 dots on there, your lenses have to be in there just perfect. They cannot rotate or they're not going to see as well. So essentially what I'm looking into, I have an optical crosshair. I have a vertical meridian and a horizontal one. So I'm going to put on one meridian, that one there, right across those 3 dots, and then the vertical one goes right through your optical center. So I'm dead center in your pupils. So again, put the block there, pull one of these off. The black side is the sticky side. Stick that on there. Pull the tape away to make this side sticky. Get everything lined up in the middle of the crosshairs where it should be, and then boom, we're good to go. I'm going to take your right lens, put it into the chuck, or as I like to say, the Charles, because I don't know this machine well enough to call it chuck. But the first thing that's going to happen, apart from really bad humor, hello, is this on? Is this on? Okay, this is as funny as I get. Alright, so the calipers are coming down and it's tracing the shape of your right lens to make sure that this lens is large enough to fit into the frame, which any lens is large enough to fit into this tiny little frame. But it's starting on the rear surface, the concave surface, which is closest to your eyelashes. Then it's moving over and tracing the convex side of the lens, which sits away from the face. The actual cutting wheel is down here at the bottom. It's that lighter color wheel. It's going to act like a heavy grit sandpaper, and this wheel in the center is going to put the bevel onto the lens so it stays inside the bevel of the frame. Now we'll have to close the door as your prescription lenses starts cutting, but I just want you to see as it touches down onto the cutting wheel. Ooh, that's loud. So, your lenses are made out of polycarbonate material. Polycarb is 40% thinner and lighter than regular plastic. It is also virtually unbreakable, which is very good in your case, Kristy, because you had a cracked lens when I met you. So your lenses are virtually unbreakable. They're bulletproof up to 22 caliber. They also have both UVA and UVB protection built into them. We know what the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays can do to your skin, where your eyes are 8 times more sensitive than your skin. So you have permanent sunscreen for your eyes. They're also aspheric. Aspheric simply means not spherical. Spherical just means your lens is completely round in every direction. I'm trying to make this round. I'm not doing a good job. But round like a basketball. But a spherical lens gives you an ugly cosmetic fishbowl appearance. Aspheric just means it's much flatter. It starts off round and then flattens out at the curvature. So you get a much higher grade cosmetic looking appearance. Now, when you buy glasses from people online, they charge you for plastic lenses. If you want the thinner, lighter weight, unbreakable lenses, they charge you an upgrade fee to the polycarb. And if you want the aspheric, the very flat, the thinnest lenses possible, they charge you another upgrade fee. Well, that's someone else's third tier lens, premium lens. You get that for free just by buying lenses from me. Now, if you are buying frames, if you notice, your lens is completely flat around the edges, just like a nickel. If I were to take it out now, it would stand up on its edge on the counter. But now it's actually getting the knife-like bevel put onto the edge of the lens. And if you notice, there is water running in the background, but polycarb cuts dry where plastic and high index cut wet. Now, in the very end of the cutting cycle, there's 2 water jets, one in the front here and one in the back, that's going to spray water onto the lens. Look at that, right on command, to help wash away any optical debris that you have, any optical sawdust. And as soon as that is done, I will take it out and then we'll get it mounted into your frame. Now, I did pick this one out for you because it is so petite. You have very petite features, and the frame that you have now is actually wider than this one. And anytime you put on a wide frame, it makes your eyes look too close together, like you're cross-eyed. So this is going to be a better size fit for you than the last frame. So out comes your lens. Let me take it out of the chuck. The next thing I want to do is actually dry your lens off so it's not slippery while I keep working with it. And you still have some rough edges that are left over from the cutting cycle. So I'm going to use my hand stone, which is completely flat. I can put my finger on it while it's running, but my finger gets warm due to the friction, but it's that friction that allows me to apply what's known as the safety bevel. And essentially I've melted those rough edges. Now I'm going to use my thumbnail to scrape this white powdery substance off your lens, and that's going to drop onto the counter. This is called Schwarf. And once it's onto the counter, all off your lens and onto the counter, I carefully collect it very neatly and very carefully into one pile, and then I wipe it on the floor. And this is where I say, kids, stay in school. I went to school for years to learn how to make a mess like that. So kids, if you want to grow up and make a mess, you gotta stay in school. So I'm going to take my little tiny flat blade screwdriver and loosen your eye wire screw. Lefty loosey. And I'm going to put your lens into the place and drop your screw. Hey, it didn't fall on the floor. That's always embarrassing when that happens. When you see me get on my hands and knees and have to chase down a screw, which I may have to do. But so I'm going to put the screw back in, if I can do it without dropping it. And righty-tighty on that little tiny evasive screw. And it is into the frame perfectly. So let's go ahead and start cutting your left lens. Pop this in, flip that over to L for left, also L for meaning not right. And we're going to hit start as I clean up here as I go along. Now, just like before, the calipers are going to come down and they're going to trace the shape of the left side of your frame this time. Always starting with the rear surface, the concave surface, and then moving over and tracing the convex surface. The reason why they do both sides of the lenses is the calipers are always measuring the thickness of the lens as it goes around to know exactly where to place the bevel so it fits best inside your frame. In fact, look at that, no edge thickness. If you take a look at your cracked and broken glasses that you're wearing now, you have a lot more edge thickness. So just frame selection really helps. So unfortunately, your doctor's office up there in Ellsworth, Maine. Did not really help you pick out the best size for. They may have been busy. I'm not cracking on them. It happens. We all get busy. But this one's going to be a much better cosmetic appearance for you. So I'm going to take this block off. It is no longer needed. And take off that. Where's my thing? Dry everything off. Now I'm going to keep that red dot because that is your pupillary distance. And I'm going to put this back into 157 on my lensometer. Put that in. I'm going to read to make sure everything lines up perfectly, and it is. I'm reading -250, which is the first component. -250 -1 at 157. So I check your astigmatism correction, which ends up being -350. Now, remember your high school algebra teacher where you add the two minuses together? So if someone owed you $2.50 and they borrowed another dollar, they would owe you $3.50. That is the power that we came up to there. Now, these numbers mean everything in the optical world is, the measurement we use is called a diopter, spelled D-I-O-P-T-E-R. And it goes in quarter increments starting at 0, being plano, also non-prescription. And goes up from there, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1, 1 1/4, so on. You're at 250, so essentially you're on the 10th rung of the ladder. You need 10 steps of correction for your farsightedness. You are actually nearsighted. You can see with your glasses off, but you can't see far away. So without your glasses on, everything is much larger than it really appears. So you have 10 steps of correction to minify whatever you're looking at. It's the opposite of magnify. But this will minify down to the correct size. Now this -1, your sill, this is your astigmatism correction. There is a stigma over the word astigmatism. It just means shape. It's not a disease. It's not an affliction. Everyone freaks out when they hear that word. But this first number gets everything the right size. Astigmatism is what makes everything blurry. So 6s and 8s or the letters P and F look alike. So think of this as the fine-tune knob. And the 157 just tells us where to fine-tune on a straight edge from 0 to 180, with 90 being in the center. You have 0, 90, 180. We turn that, if you think of the fine-tune knob, we turn it past the 90, about to 157. That's what makes everything nice and clear for you. Now your left eye is a little bit better. You only need 9 steps of correction to get everything the correct size that it should be, but you need one more step. You need an additional 5 steps of correction for your astigmatism, and we're corrected at 65. Now these first two numbers on both sides, this is your right eye, these are the numbers for your left. These first two numbers in each box are real values. These could be anywhere from 0 to 180, so don't worry about the 157 or the 65. It doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot. Of course, a lot of things don't mean a whole heck of a lot, but I'm going to explain them anyway. So, your lens is dried off. Back to the handstone real quick for the safety bevel. Back to smoothing all that out. Scrape that off of your lens and onto the counter. And once it's on the counter, I wipe it on the floor. Kids, stay in school. How many times I got to tell you what I do with your frames? There they are. So, back to my little tiny screwdriver, lefty loosey. Oh, there it goes again. That screw just wants to jump out. So I've tucked the lens in where it's supposed to go inside the bevel. Pick up that screw. It's a good thing I cut my fingernails this morning, or I couldn't get it back in. Come on now. Come on. Pop that back in. And righty-tighty. Tighten everything back up. And that looks in there good. So I'm going to take that block off. And I'm going to spin the axis wheel back to 65. So, put that on 65, my Marco 101 lensometer. Put it into my viewfinder. And that comes out perfect. We're at -2 1/4. And then as I rotate this again, we end up with a combined power of 350 again. Now your pupillary distance is 55. So, I'm going to put the 0 on against my thumb on your right lens, and when I hold it up onto the left lens, you see that it's 55 millimeters, so that is cut perfectly. I also want to go ahead and get these cleaned up and shipped to you as soon as possible, so you have something nice to wear. Now I'm also going to get this in standard alignment. You may need to take this by your local optical shop to have these adjusted, because 80% of people have one ear that's higher than the other, and I'm no different. When I take mine off and set them on the counter, you see how they wobble because I have one ear that's higher than the other. So that's why 99% of all optical shops will do free adjustments. Ooh, I missed a little red dot there. So I'm going to get them in standard alignment, also known as the 3-point stance, 1, 2, and the bottom of the frame being 3. I set them on the counter and press down. There is no wobble. Flip them over. There is no wobble. I close each temple to make sure they overlap perfectly, and they do. And so that's that. Oh, one more red dot. I am not good at cleaning those tonight. I'm going to have to go back to red dot school. So that's that. If anyone has any questions about what I can and can't do, just email me at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com. Kristy in Bar Harbor, Maine, I hope you enjoyed watching as I made you a pair of prescription glasses, and everyone else has got the chance to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.